Welcome back to Tales from the Service Industry. Tonight, I've got Mama Bear, Ms. B.
Hey, guys.
We've got our resident deviant. Liz is on the mic.
Hi, team.
And joining us for the first time, Pat.
Hello, hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And I'm your host. I'm Bill. Tonight, Pat is joining us with a little different job history than we've got. For all the listeners, we've got a lot of hotel experience here, some recreation, but Pat's joining us from retail. Is that correct?
Retail primarily, about 15 years, 10 years of retail management. Recently, though, I'm in food and beverage, so it's kind of a change of pace, but...
Love it. We don't have a lot of that.
No.
Yeah, most of my background, though, comes from apparel retail. So I started in high school. I was one of those. It was either fast food or something, or work at a retail store. Went down that path because I didn't want to be around, oil and grease. In high school, I was already breaking out enough. Wanted to avoid that, and I loved it. It got me out of my shell a little bit, and I was able to kind of, I don't know. It just was a different atmosphere than I was ever used to, talking to strangers. So,
Well, you're learning those people skills.
Yeah, exactly. So I stuck with it and moved into management really, really quickly. By the time I was 18, I was already a store manager. So
nice.
It was fast.
That's awesome.
So it was really cool. I think I've seen it all. I've worked for quite a few different brands, mostly in surf apparel and a lot of action sports brands. So that would be my specialty, I would say, because that's where I know most about product knowledge and whatever. But the industry is weird. It's kind of brought me around different places, and I definitely have experienced some really interesting situations. So, nothing.
I'm excited.
I don't know if it's too out of the norm from every service industry, but there are definitely retail specific challenges that you face.
Well,
sure.
you got a high bar to meet. Our last retail guest had some crazy stories.
Okay.
Horrific.
Are you talking about Allie?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll see what I can...
So she was in, just to give you a background, she was in a lingerie store.
Okay.
Should we just say it like that?
Big box lingerie store.
Familiar.
So it's probably exactly what you're thinking. And she had some crazy fitting room stories.
Homeless stories. I'm sure we all have a chalk phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Ton of those?
Yeah.
Fitting room stories are kind of our, if you worked at a bar, that's your drunk person story. Fitting rooms are kind of horror stories constantly. So...
Or in a hotel, that jerk that's checking in or checking out.
We got a lot of those.
They're all one and the same.
The staple.
Exactly.
I have one really, really great fitting room story that we'll bring up.
Are we going to dive right in?
We should.
Let's just go.
I'm dying.
should.
Please.
First, I kind of want to start not with a customer story, but with an internal employee story.
Ooh, those are my favorites.
I give reference to the story a lot, almost on a daily basis. So
wow.
I like it.
Had an impact.
Yeah, for sure.
So we all have those employees that are a little bit kind of troubling in showing up. Maybe if it's on time or if it's just at all.
Right.
We've all kind of, we know those people. I had one that was regularly kind of late, and they were kind of, they were getting write-ups and, kind of on their last leg. They knew that the hammer was about to drop.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So they were previously coached on it.
Yeah,
given
absolutely.
Documentation.
No shock.
Yep. Final documentation.
Oh.
So they were there. We had an instance where I was out of the store. I get a call, and there's a fire alarm. That's pretty common. We get fire alarms in malls and stuff.
Really?
All the time. When you work in retail, you get really dull to the fire alarm. It kind of ends up being it's a test. You kind of wait until you hear more legitimate. You see people moving, and then you're like, all right.
Do I hear sirens? Do I smell smoke?
Yeah.
I mean, how often would you say? Once a week?
Weekly.
Once a month? Oh.
Weekly, I would say, is fairly normal to experience.
Well, our listeners know Miss B's trouble with the fire alarms in a hotel.
Oh, I hate them.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
So I get a call, fire alarm. Everyone exits.
Okay.
It was a legit fire alarm at that point. Nothing was burning down, but it was a pulled alarm. So it was an internal hey, there's an emergency.
Oh.
It wasn't a test.
So you needed to investigate.
Yeah. Nothing really came of it. Employees all came in. I got word that employee was late, but it was because of everyone being outside the store and the fire alarm. It was kind of a little bit of havoc.
Huh.
Give it 2 weeks. This occurs again. And I didn't necessarily connect the dots initially, but...
Are there cameras on, fire alarms to see who pulled them?
There are, but on the external sides of the building, they're not, always super
Great
on camera.
quality.
Or they're just not, on camera. There's ones that, because they're having to be, every 100 yards on the building or something, but...
Okay.
Whatever code is for fire alarms on a building like
that. Sure. They're everywhere, kind of. And this goes on for the next 3 or 4 weeks. And
Or like every
the
week.
correlation was really obvious at that point.
Oh.
Of like,
But-
this
But it
employee
didn't
is
make
like
sense though, because
on their way in every time.
that employee would be late. So who's pulling the alarm? And we were trying to figure this out a little bit. So we kind of had an idea that it was two people working together. Hey, I'm running late. Can you yank this alarm?
Oh.
That was like the concept, basically. And
So I don't get caught just because I'm
Yeah.
late.
I don't want to lose my job, and I'm running late, and they can't, get it together.
Well, obviously you
So
don't want to be there and be
Wow.
on time.
Isn't that a felony?
It is. It absolutely is rough.
Talk about the nuclear option for like
Yes.
covering for somebody's late shift start time.
And these
No,
aren't
get a felony.
these weren't minors. They were like
Grown ass
late
adults.
20s adults. Yeah. It moved up though, and it stepped up a degree because
God.
about a week later, so it's a month, and I'm trying to kind of figure it out. It's really hard to work with the mall and try to get footage, and it was kind of chaotic a little bit, try to iron it out, but
And like run a store at the same time.
yeah, it wasn't the biggest deal initially too, because it was like 30 minutes late, and we weren't really sure if that was actually occurring, that they were pulling an alarm. It just seemed like outlandish. It didn't make sense.
Yeah, you're like, no.
And then we get a bomb threat.
Oh God.
And the bomb threat was for our store. They didn't call our store. They called the mall and told them that it was in our store. So we vacate. Clearly, the whole mall vacates. Bomb squad show up. At that point, I also realized that employee is late.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't want to jack the flow, but just quick question.
Absolutely.
You're calling it a bomb threat. You're pulling a fire alarm because you're late. I mean, you still haven't punched in.
You're still late.
I mean, it
You're
was
still
like
late.
We would, it was kind of like a flyby, like, we kind of understand you're late, because they would say they're late because of this. Hey, I was trying to get a parking lot, I couldn't find parking. There was fire. They would give it that.
Hey, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
I can't clock in.
Yeah. So, my God. And sometimes it was like 20 minutes. We didn't have any sort of cushion, so if they were late 2 minutes, they were late. So they just knew that this was like it, basically, if they
So
were one more
instead of
time.
setting an alarm clock, like maybe like, I don't know, 30 minutes earlier, they would just be like, I'm going to call in a bomb threat today.
Yeah. Yeah. And this was after maybe like 5 months of employment. They were avidly late from the very beginning.
Wow.
Like, I'm gonna get the whole fire department here. Screw the actual emergencies that are going
Not
on
even
in this
fire
city.
department.
It was traceable.
Yeah.
They start 67. That doesn't work with cops.
No.
So, yeah.
PSA, everyone.
So they caught him, and it was actually one of the employees that was in the store that was doing it
Dumbass.
for their behalf.
So you're currently in
Because
the
they
store.
were afraid of getting caught for pulling the alarm again, because they figured everyone was like hot on their tail about it, because there was like conversations like who's pulling this
wait.
alarm all the time,
So they're in the store.
Yeah.
Their buddy calls them, hey, I'm going to be late.
on clock. Yeah,
And they're like, oh, instead of pulling the fire alarm, I'm just going to start 67, call the mall,
Bomb threat.
and threaten that there's a bomb in the store that I'm currently clocked in at. Okay. Sorry, just wanted to clarify.
super extreme. It took about 2 hours for the cops to come into our store and go, hi. We have this call originated from your store. Oh, by the way, store phone, not like their cell phone.
Kidding me?
No.
Store phone.
Not even a cell phone.
Yeah.
Oh
This
my
call
God.
originated from in here, and we want to kind of know what happened. And
We want to interview
Did they-
everyone that was here.
Wait, did they get the footage? Did you have camera footage and see the person on the phone?
where they were at in the back office, no, they there's always those little blackout zones. So
Right.
yeah.
Oh, they
weren't-
used the back of house phone. That was their getaway.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
So not only did they obviously lose their jobs they were so trying to keep, apparently, with very extreme circumstances, but they also ended up with some like hefty fines and potential jail time. But I think it was like racked up.
I was going to say, for sure,
Isn't
jail
that
time.
a felony? That has to be a felony.
It is. And it's
Bomb
like up
threat?
to like maybe a year or so, like in like a, I don't know, up to like a $10,000 fine per instance. So I know that they settled and stuff, but they had like $20,000 in fines each, and they were able to get off without any jail time because first offender kind of stuff.
So when they're like, thinking this through, do I want to lose my minimum wage job or get a felony, have all the possibility of jail time, $20,000 in fines? I'm gonna go with the option B.
Yeah.
For my coworker who's just late,
Never go with option B.
I mean,
No.
he's really holding out
always
for his
use
buddy.
option A.
Props for like really trying to take care of his bud, but they weren't thinking through it at all. Like just not at all.
Wait,
But
so the bud, did he get in trouble too?
both of them got
yeah.
the same
Okay.
exact fines and same
Good.
punishments and stuff.
Good.
Equal share, yeah.
They
'Cause
deserved it.
Because he was the one that was pulling the fire alarms was the friend, not even the one that was being late.
So dumb.
But did they?
Because he was there. Right?
Did they trade off and do it for each other?
No, it was just the one that was.
It was a one-way street.
Having a problem.
Wow.
Yeah.
They were buddies.
So now when anybody's late, I just tell them don't pull an alarm. Like it's like a thing that is stuck in my head. That just, give me a call. I'd rather communicate with people versus deal with angry firemen that are here for a pointless call. So
I mean, I'm kind of the same way as a department head. Like, look, I get it. Stuff
Shit
runs late.
happens.
Especially my students, if they're coming from school, if you get caught up, just shoot me a text.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm going to be 10, 15, whatever late. If we're covered, I don't really care. You communicated with me.
Yeah,
so
see,
it's
I'm the same.
okay.
As a manager, I honestly really only start to crack down if it's a trend.
yeah.
Like if it's okay, every day you can't get up on time. Like I've literally had people coming in for their PM shift, like 45 minutes. Like, sorry, I didn't wake up.
A PM?
It's 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
The ones that bother me, though, are the ones that will punch in 30 minutes late and think they can stay an extra 30 minutes to make up their hours.
Mm-hmm.
No.
No, get
No.
out.
Your schedule says you're out at 2, you're out at 2. Oh,
It's
but
your
I
fault
came
you
in.
were late.
I came in at 6:30. And whose fault is that?
Do you know what's
Yeah.
so funny though? I have the exact opposite. So I have this one associate will sometimes come in like hours late. I'm like, so are you going to be staying till 5 or 6? Because I'll use the mid. And they go, no, I have to leave at 2.
But it depends on the day. It depends on the employee and like the background of the situation.
Yeah, no,
Because there are
totally.
sometimes I'm like, no, I don't want to give you more hours. GTFO. And then sometimes if I'm desperate, I'm like, can you please stay?
Yeah.
It all depends. But I love
Totally.
the employees that clock in late and just don't say anything. And they just go about their shift. And I'm neurotic about checking time cards. I'm checking time cards
And you're
like
looking at the time
every
card,
single
you're like,
day.
Is that an error?
So I'll wait for their entire shift. Say they're scheduled 8 to 4:30 and they clocked in at 8:30. I will wait until they're like, okay, do you need anything else from me today? It's almost my time to go. I go, oh, no, take a seat. Why were you 30 minutes late today? I'm like, look, next time, can you just let me know? Just communicate with me.
Yeah.
I also get a lot of the people that show up on time and they punch in, but then it's another 15-ish, 20 minutes
Until they walk
before
through
they're
the door?
actually onto the floor.
cannot
Yeah.
stand that.
Still eating a snack and getting ready.
They're
you know,
eating
whatever.
breakfast.
I would have an
Yeah.
associate come in their sweats and like full out of uniform, like be holding things.
Is this a person that has like hair and makeup to do?
Basically, she would come in like sweats and all this, and 30 minutes later come out and be like, I'm sorry, when you punch in, you were on the clock.
You need to
That means you're
go
ready
to
to work. I am not paying for you to get dressed, put on your hair and your makeup. Punch in means you're on the floor. So it feels.
I think I might have told you guys this story. I had a associate that he punched in at 11 a.m., but then he turned in a manual punch form stating that he had forgotten to punch in at 10 when he got there.
10.
Yeah, because he was scheduled to work 10 to 6:30. And so he had punched at 11, but then turns in a paper saying he had arrived at 10, forgot to punch. So I'm looking, I'm thinking, okay, that could be kind of plausible had he not punched at 11. So what do? I check the cameras. Now, this guy is already on his second written warning. He'd already been told, look, you're late again. We're going to have problems, right? So I check the cameras, and I can see him ride in on his motorcycle
Oh, perfect.
at 11 o'clock.
Oh.
Or at like 10:55. I see him come through the front doors at like 10:59. Jacket on, helmet in hand, walks into the back office, punches in. The day that this gets dropped on my desk was his day off. So at this point, I'm like, okay, well, you've been written up twice for, being late. And now you're literally trying to steal money from me. So I
Yeah.
ordered his final check.
Yep.
So a couple days goes by, he comes in, I pull him in the office and I sit him down and talk to him. And I said, hey, I got your manual punch form. This is yours, right? He says, yeah. I said, so can you explain to me why you punched in at 11, but then signed in at 10? Oh, well, I got here and I was in a hurry. I jumped on the desk because it was busy and I just got to work. Oh, okay. I said, so, here's your write-up for being late to work. I need you to please write that on the associate comments.
As
So-
you're ready to present a final check.
Yeah. So he writes that out, right? So he writes down his whole excuse.
Dumbass.
So at that point, I said, I appreciate you sharing that further information with me, but unfortunately, this is the end of our relationship. I said, you are being dishonest with me. You are not being straightforward, and you're perpetuating it in writing. So here's a photo of you riding in on your motorcycle. Here's you coming through the doors at 2 minutes to 11. Here's you punching in at the clock. So here's your final check. I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Or as
Damn.
Ms. B says, bye, Felicia.
Exactly. But none of those are as good as a fire alarm. with
No.
bomb threat.
I have never...
No.
Ever.
I don't know the logic behind it. It just seems
There is
such an
none.
extreme measure for something that really could have been just communicated better. Like you could have just been like, hey, I'm running late. Like it's been an emergency. I know I'm on my final ride up.
Like, please.
But
I
how
want this
many?
job.
Okay,
We accommodated too. We changed his shifts to deal with like his lateness. It was,
based on
know.
your
You did your due diligence. You
based
made
on your
the effort.
memory,
could've, yeah.
how many times was a fire alarm pulled?
It was 4 individual times and then one bomb threat.
so 5 in totality
5, yeah.
to prevent a final warning in term.
Yeah, and I mean, they were considering like charging him for loss of revenue in the mall because the mall is vacated, and
Yeah.
it could have been really bad for them. They got kind of lucky for just hitting with the
Criminal side versus the civil side.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it was.
Well, because
a bad
at that
idea.
extent, I think they should have, because when you've done it that many times, you obviously don't have any remorse. You obviously don't care how it affects other people.
I think it's just they did it the first time out of will, and then just were like, "It worked."
Like, oh,
Let's do this
we got
again.
away with it.
Yeah.
Let's go
Damn
again.
sociopaths.
Yeah,
Hey, so you know what? Rather than getting here to work on time, let's just pull the fire alarm and evacuate a mall.
yeah.
And
just
give
wanna
me
know-
another 30 minutes of sleep.
I want to know where those people are now, like in their lives. I'm just
In debt. That's where they're at.
maybe in prison.
I don't know.
Or
Yeah.
in the unemployment line. Because, I mean, if you're going to pull that maneuver, 4 fire alarms and a bomb threat, you're probably not changing your ways.
Exactly.
yeah.
I would love to be the hiring manager at their next job saying, so why did you leave company XYZ? Tell me about that.
Well, I
I'm
threatened
guessing
them
there's
with
just a
a
big
bomb.
gap in their work history. I'm assuming they didn't put that one down.
Oh, it was COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, that's wild. So is that your best?
It kind of leads into another. If we stay on the employee side,
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm excited.
so I was a district manager for a pretty well-known like eyewear company, and as I came in, I came into an area that was kind of difficult, right in the heat of COVID, and they had a lot of challenges that they were kind of experiencing, and just growing traffic into their stores, and they were like trying everything, and they were still doing well, like in terms of other companies, they were really not in such a bad spot, but they weren't growing.
In the full company.
Yeah,
Or
but
just stores?
specifically in like my region.
Okay.
So as we kind of look through each store's P&L and trying to look at like losses and just where can we kind of cut things and where can we grow and invest, and if it's they were very willing to invest lots of money and pour it into areas where to help them grow even during COVID, which was awesome.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
But I also wanted to see like where our weak areas were. So I had about 11 stores. It wasn't like a gnarly region. As I started looking at it, there was 5 stores that are in our high profit loss, like areas that were like difficulty with LP, lots of stolen goods and stuff like that. Like the stores that were in our nicest areas had worse losses than our stores
In the
that
not
were
so
in
good
like the
areas.
rough areas. It didn't make sense.
Huh.
So we were like kind of trying to take a look at that. It was surface level. We kind of looked at staffing. It was very surface level. It was consistent. It matched up over the past 5 years. It wasn't anything that was like
No spikes.
no spikes.
Okay.
Dove into it a little bit more over the next like 6 months because I started like checking things, and the big thing that I noticed was just weird inventory errors, and the inventory kind of errors that I was experiencing was like very complicated errors that like made you kind of wrapped it up to like IT or software.
But did you have a manager doing inventory monthly? Like in the stores
Not-
themselves?
I mean, they did like regular kind of uptick on
Okay.
inventory, big old overhaul inventories where you had like a third party company come on every year.
third party company.
Yeah, they have a lot of product.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking
lots
of me
product.
like with my tally sheet in the golf shop taking inventory. It's
Yeah, I think it's a little bit
very,
different.
very different. Okay.
It was like lots of product, but also it's
Well,
as a
eyewear-
measure, so like you get it more accurate.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, eyewear, it's small too.
it's small, but it was
Lots to
also
count.
not just eyewear. We had full apparel and other hard goods and stuff
Eesh,
like that.
okay.
So
I give it to you for being in retail. That sounds like my nightmare.
It's actually not as bad. I feel like it's the easiest of the service industry, in my opinion, in a lot of ways. But in other ways, there's other complications to it.
Just
right?
the inventory aspect.
But typically, people you deal with are usually kind of happy to like. They're
good.
excited. You know, they get like that whole the buyer's high, and they're kind of like excited to go home with something new. Usually, that's like I think the most general experience. But when people are upset, they're really upset too.
Fair enough.
We get that.
Irregularities.
Yeah, so it's definitely like a big swing from like one customer that's super stoked, and then the next one is like I'm furious because of a certain return policy. So it is challenging sometimes, but in general, as I took like a deeper look, and I'm a big numbers person. I love just diving through like Excel sheets. There was like just like different flags that was thrown at me, and I started looking at it a little bit more. And I was like, we need to bring in like someone who like focuses just on this because I think this is like a bigger loss. I'm looking at like numbers that don't match up in the millions.
Whoa.
These are high profit stores that do millions a year.
I was thinking like, I don't know, 10K.
I was looking at like over that couple year span. Over a year span, I was like seeing massive loss. Not one other region was experiencing that.
And you're like, this can't be right. Let's bring someone in.
Yeah, call it LA if you want to call it LA, but that's not like. I don't think one area is going to have that much of a big difference.
Not that much.
So they we have a loss prevention team and all that kind of stuff, corporate angles. They start looking into it, find nothing. They're like, no, that's just typical loss. It's been that way for very years. Tracking.
What?
There's nothing that is surprising.
Your store has been like that
Yeah,
historically.
they basically looked at it, from a historical side, like it hasn't upticked or, it was consistent. So
if there was something funky going on, it had been going on for a while.
They were wrapping it to like that is expected loss because it's tracking with prior years.
It's trend.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So what'd you do?
I had an idea of like what was taking place, and it looked like a very complicated idea. And I was like, I want to know if I could do it. I want to see if I can. I want to put it to the test so I can then show them like this is plausible. Look. And it has to do with like our software and how we do our inventory, but there's other complications like how would you actually move the product if you were internal theft? Like how do you get rid of it? You're on camera.
Yeah.
Basically the stores that don't have a lot of security cameras are in the nice areas that don't really require massive amount of, they have them on the registers, in the cash wrap, they have them maybe in the office.
But not every single corner.
Not every square foot is covered, and they don't invest as heavy as you would in other stores that deal with lots of loss.
Okay.
And obviously, because of that, they did add some, security measures to those stores, like sensors and other things, because their numbers did rise quite a bit. But it still wasn't like never an area where it was like so high that they were like, oh my gosh. And because it was like each store maybe $100K a year, which is not really that crazy.
But when you're saying millions, it obviously adds up.
In total from all these stores.
Cumulative.
Yeah, cumulative in over years too. Anyways, I was able to prove the method worked. And I was like, this is how I think they're doing it. And they were like, okay.
Like hypothetically, you pseudo stole product.
Yeah, I mean, I just did it like in the system internally.
Right. But you were like,
and
you presented it and was like, this is how we
I
did
showed
it.
them how it worked. Like I was like, this is my idea of what's
The
taking place.
product is in front of you, but it's not in our inventory. I stole it out of inventory.
And it tracked with like our highest resale items. Not everyone steals things that like has any value. People steal like the most random stuff that doesn't necessarily have value. So it tracked along with like what you would want to resell and make money off of.
Okay.
Eventually we were able to, they did like investigative stuff. They did their whole angle from the corporate side where they were like interviewing people, pulling, massive amount of records. And it was took like another 5-6 months before I heard anything back. Like
Wow.
I was asking for updates and they're like, we're in the midst of it. You can get the vague response.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't discuss things that are under investigation.
Exactly. Eventually, I get hit up, and they say, "We want to chat with you. We want to just give you a rundown, give you an update on what's taking place."
Okay.
So excited! I'm just so excited because I was like thinking that there was really like a bunch coming to it, but I was blown away at what like they presented me. So basically, a really complicated ring of people that were not just internally like. From managers that were doing it internally in the system, they had people that were moving the product that they were like selling it to, that they were resellers. They had associates that were like lookouts, corporate delivery guys that would kind of kick the boxes off before they even came through the door, so they were never on camera.
Oh my gosh.
And we're never, well, you were I guess, anticipating inventory, but it just never got on the shelf?
Yeah, but obviously they were checking it in like we had that product.
Wow.
Because then it would be a big flag if you just missed shipping. Like if you were like, hey, you're missing 3 boxes. Like,
So
we
they
would know
received it, but the box never really showed up.
Yeah. So
Wow.
ended up being like, they assumed, they never like could really give a concrete answer on how many people were actually involved, but like upwards to like 30 employees.
Over how many
Whoa.
stores?
I don't know, maybe like 6 or 7 stores.
Wow.
And you uncovered it.
And
You're like,
over like a
"Guys."
5-year period.
Whoa.
Even it could have been longer. Some of those employees were there prior to 5 years, but from our understanding is it went really, that's when the numbers picked up. So it could have like been longer, but it's amazing to me that many people, it slowly grew. Like they like acquired this whole ring.
Well, they're making like money on the
It's a
side.
mafia.
And
It was
I'm
like
saying, Ms. B, you want some extra cash?
Sports apparel mafia.
Well, it probably also had a little air of, hey, we'll cut you in if you don't say anything.
Right? Of course.
Wow.
But like, I don't know. I knew some of those people. I was blown away. I was like, I could never pin them for.
Not Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry.
Little Jerry.
What?
It was
Can Jerry.
the most. That was the biggest like. That, I mean,
Guy's an
people
asshole.
steal stuff
I know.
all the time, but internal theft is always very weird to me because I'm like, you're getting paid from this company and they're providing you a livelihood and usually doing their best to take care of you. You might not like your manager or something, but typically like they're there to be there for you in most ways. Modern day, like companies are typically
That's wild.
providing you something just
Yeah,
as much as you're providing them something.
Yeah,
right?
and talk about biting the hand that feeds you. I mean,
Yeah.
you're drawing a paycheck, you're pulling benefits, you know, you're enjoying vacation time,
So
and
did
you're
those
going to
people
rob
go
them
to
blind.
prison?
They kept that all internal. They processed all internally.
But
Yeah.
if you know their names, I've looked up people. Are they in jail?
Oh, like nowadays, I would I would imagine they now have a full tendency like that. If you're capable of like stealing even just like one thing, you're capable of stealing more in my mind.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like
But was there a mass exodus of
Yeah, all this-
employees from stores?
in
like-
a 1 week period, we lost all those. Yeah, they were gone.
So what
Dang.
was the gossip? Like, where'd they go? Did people, or was it
there
pretty covered up well, being like, oh, they're just not with us anymore?
after the interviewing of like a lot of staff, there was a lot of rumors. So like people just kind of had an idea that something was going down.
And now they're
And
not
then
here.
people are gone.
And then all of a sudden, yeah, one day there was half
And
the staff was gone, and
We
some stores.
never saw Jerry again.
Yeah,
Jerry was a punk anyway.
yeah.
Both some
Oh,
cool
bitch.
shades, I guess.
But I mean, like Pat was saying, you know, you've got 30 people spread over 6 stores, so
Damn.
it is an exodus from the company, but it's not necessarily
Each
a
individual
huge
store
yeah,
is not huge.
potentially, yeah.
Wow.
It's really crazy. That's
wild.
that's definitely like an experience that'll stick with me because I think it wasn't like they're not giant big box stores where that stuff probably happens maybe more frequently, like a ring of people doing different sort of fraud and I don't know
I
stealing
still think
and
that's
stuff.
unique.
But
I don't.
just especially for smaller retail when there's a store that has 10 to 20 employees or something, it's just
Yeah.
like it was definitely mind blowing for me. The awesome
Wow.
part was just the time frame because it was like I almost forgot about it a little bit because it was months
Huh.
before I ever heard.
Did you get like a medal for that?
I felt like I should have. I
you
was
were
like,
the
I want
one
like a
that
bonus.
Uncovered that. You should have gotten a bonus.
They
a
gave me some.
plaque.
They gave me some time off and like
That's
some
it?
paid time off and like they gave me like a vacation. Like they gave me like a credit toward like flyer mile kind of
It's like,
hotel stay.
where's my medal and keys to the
Yeah.
company?
They were like, you invested because I was doing this like kind of on my own time for the most part. I wasn't just spending all my work
Wow.
hours like trying to investigate something that they weren't really even behind.
It was just something to like tinker around with. Like, let me mess around.
It
Let
was
me
on
see.
my mind constantly. I was like, this is a huge error in our P&L. Like we are losing so much
Wow.
money. I was like,
Where's
You're
it?
a
Where's it
detective
going?
at heart.
I guess.
I was like, I get bonused on these plans. Like I want to figure. I'm gonna find this loss and
There
try to
it
fix
is,
it.
there it
So,
is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So when
you
you
should have gotten the back pay for that.
Yeah. I should have. I
When you
needed you at my side to argue for me.
I would have been there.
when you figured out the $1
money.
million theft ring, did they give you like a DVD player or monogrammed towels or
Yeah.
something to
I
say
wanted
thank
some-
you?
Yeah.
They should have.
Hey, thank you so much for saving us $3 million in future inventory.
Because we said there's nothing going on.
here's a customized towel for you.
Yeah. That company is under a very big umbrella company, so they were kind of like,
You're a number.
yeah, absolutely.
Like,
my
thank
God.
you, but get back to work.
yeah.
That's wild.
Make sure it doesn't happen again.
Dang.
And I was told initially to like stop looking into it, kind of.
Oh.
Like, because they were like, I think you're just kind of you're running down something
Let
that
it
doesn't exist.
go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Oh God, no! I hear that every day. Please no.
Mark the time for that soundbite.
I'm really sorry.
Oh, you better be.
I don't care.
Oh my God. That's
That's
wild.
That is crazy.
See, all I have are hobo stories right now.
Okay, well, that brings me
Homeless people.
on to my next question for you.
Oh no, what?
Do you have Miss B's Bee of the Week?
Man, I always do. But this week, my biggest bees have been homeless people, man. Like,
Oh, really?
I'm not kidding. Like, just this morning, I was at our bar area and I was talking to the food and beverage manager, and we see this person walking by that's coming from the event spaces, which were all unoccupied. So nobody should have been walking that way.
Oh, interesting.
And it's this guy holding a blanket with things in it. And he kind of like goes like this to us, like waves, and then keeps walking by. And the food and beverage manager and I look at each other and we're like, what the hell? Where's that guy coming from? And I'm like, was he out? She's like, yeah, he was. And we're like, where did he come from? So we go over there. It was a homeless guy with like a blanket and just waves as he's walking out. We're like, where was he sleeping?
Super friendly.
Stairwell.
But there was none. It was literally 3 meeting spaces right there.
I'm sorry, that's a heated meeting space. That's empty.
There you go.
We went and checked every door, and there were 2 that were unopened, but there was a banquet captain in there working in both of them. And
Oh.
he just stepped out on break, but we'd never seen him enter. And we asked the banquet captain, like, you've been working here? They're like, yeah. They're like, did you see a guy? And they were like, no. So we think he was hiding under a table somewhere.
Under the linens, under the table.
Yeah.
That's
Storage
awesome.
room or something.
Because there was
they're
nowhere
drapes.
else he would have come from. But so that's not even my B of the week. So this guy...
That's a H of the week.
I know. I got a lot of them.
Homeless? Homeless. Okay.
Seriously.
Good one.
Come on.
No, I mean, I understood what you were going for. I just,
Didn't land.
no. No.
Okay.
All right.
Fine.
So I would
You
say
can do
my...
so much better.
So it's
Keep
my
drinking.
A-hole of the week was from last night. And this guy, so I just hired a new security guard because of all of our issues.
Wait, I'm sorry. You hire security guards?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you kidding?
I run this place. Anyway,
You run security?
I run everything.
That is so
I'm
cool.
housekeeping this week. I'm also the general manager because she's out, and I'm running front office, and the director of engineering's gone, and so I'm running the security team. The hotel is mine.
I'm sorry,
Anyways,
Slay girl.
I
Way to
know,
go.
I
I'm so
know.
proud of you.
Thank you.
Bill, are you proud of Miss B?
100%. I am so glad she is no longer at the last place.
Oh, me too. So
I'm-
glad.
But for
not.
a myriad of reasons.
I know. Thank God.
Okay,
Out of that
anyway, I'm
hellhole.
sorry to
Okay.
interrupt. You're in charge. You're a boss bee.
Yeah, so I just hired this new security guy.
Was that one better?
That was better. And yesterday was his very first day. So it's a paperwork kind of day. So we do his paperwork. You know, I request all of his logins, his emails, all that jazz. But I wanted to give him a full shift because he was very eager and wanted to work, wanted to get a paycheck. So I was like, I'll give you a full 8 hours. So after we finished all his paperwork and stuff, I said, okay, just hang out at the desk and just observe, you know, the traffic coming in and out, the kind of questions the desk are asked, like, you know, kind of get a feel for the clientele, the hotel. And, you know, by sitting there and listening to the front desk, you can learn about the hotel a lot. Like, because people come up and go, where are the restrooms? And front desk tells you. I tell him just to take things in and just observe. And he notices a guy kind of like wandering around and like looking around. And so he goes up to him and he's like, can I help you find anything? I'm just waiting for a friend. I'm just waiting for a friend. And he's like, okay, do you got a name? Like, maybe I can give him a call and let him know that you're waiting. By the way, no hospitality experience.
Love that.
I know. And he's like, no, he's coming down. He's coming down. And he's like, okay. And he said he sounded kind of like convincing. And he's like, all right. And he's like, I'll just go grab a drink at a bar and grab something while I wait. And so it's like, okay, that's like a reasonable thing to do, right? So he goes over to the bar. He orders a grilled cheese and a cocktail. And he has it. And then he goes to pay. And his card won't go through. And the guy's like, oh, there must be a mistake. There must be something wrong. There must be something wrong. I'll be right back. So the bartender was getting PO'd because this guy's not paying his tab. And then he's like walking around doing stuff. And so the security guy goes up to him. He's like, you got to pay your bill. He's like, stop harassing me, man. Stop harassing me. And he's like, I'm not. And he's like, but you got to pay. Like, where's this friend of yours? And so the guy starts getting aggressive, like all up in his face. And at one point, the guy takes his hat off and he goes and smacks my security guard on the top of the head.
No.
Like, you need to lose your head, man. And smacks him on the top of the head. And the guy's just like, oh no. Ow. It's his first day. He's kicking a guy out of the hotel.
He
But-
played right into the guy's trap, though.
Good welcome party. Yeah.
But he can't really like do anything, right? The only
security guy?
The only thing he can do is be like, I'm gonna call the cops.
But
Kind of.
that's literally it.
But good for him.
First day. You're supposed to be just sitting up there. I was like applauding him.
No hospitality experience.
And he kicked but his first day, and literally got this guy out. He's like, I'm on your side, but I mean, we did call the police. Do you really want to go in a squad car, or why don't you go out on your own free will? And I'm not leaving. He's like, okay, well, we'll sit outside together. Let's talk about this. And got him outside of the building. He stood between him and other guests. Like, he was instinctually doing all the right things. Yeah, but definitely still an a-hole.
So, but just to clarify, the hotel did not get paid for their grilled cheese and cocktail.
Of course not.
All right.
I believe it was a cocktail.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I caught that too.
Thank you.
But
Can I get a grilled cheese and a cocktail, please?
People listening did not hear my giggle fit.
Oh my God. All right. Any of you guys have some fun stories like that? Any hobo stories?
I have, a lot of hope. Okay.
Or whatever you want to call
Working
it.
in Santa Monica, I had
Oh, yeah.
plenty. It was a daily occurrence.
Yeah.
My favorite one's kind of lighthearted though, a
Oh,
little bit. It
I
would
wanna
rain.
hear.
It would rain, right?
Okay.
Put out a wet floor sign. Really basic, right?
Okay.
I had a specific homeless man that would, every time he saw that, he would steal it.
Oh, no way.
Shut up.
He would come in and slip and do the most exaggerated flop you've ever seen.
Like he should have played for the NBA.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he'd be great.
Ooh, I like
And
that. That was a good one.
There's only one occurrence where he actually
True. It's
I
not
know,
a
I
joke.
know,
It's a
I know.
fact.
It's a whole sport now.
He had the height, but
funny.
he came in and actually hurt himself on one of those occasions though.
Oh my God.
He came up to us and apologized, and he was like, "I actually do need maybe you to call someone."
So previously, it was all like a joke to him, like, "Oh, I'm just gonna steal the sign."
No, he
and
was trying
follow."
to get a lawsuit.
He was trying
He was
to.
dead serious. He wasn't there in the head, but
Oh.
he was a goofy guy. Nice.
So this one time he was like, "No, actually,
you get to know your
I need
homeless
help."
people.
Oh, for sure.
in
You
that
have your-
area.
well, you have your-
your regular.
your regulars, but also your regular homeless.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I get it.
And a lot of them are cool. They're either in poor situations, and a lot of the ones that stayed right there in that area were not really a nuisance. It was the ones that would kind of come and go that were typically problematic.
The ones that would steal your wet floor signs.
No, this was a regular dude. We knew him very well. He was just
You're
trying
like, Jerry, stop taking the sign.
it was Jerry. That was his second career. That's how he ended up with their pulling alarms.
Oh my God.
No, I think I don't know what his intention was because it's not like he had a lawyer to call for,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But that's kind of what he was getting at. I'm not sure what the idea was,
Or just
but it made me laugh all the
free
time.
That would
product.
make me laugh.
Especially when we had a winter, we get 3 weeks of just decent spotty rain.
And every day?
Every day. Yeah, if it was raining at all when that sign came out.
Dang. That's so funny.
No, wait. Did you say what industry this was in?
Retail.
Retail.
Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
I missed that part.
Nowadays, I have a different experience with the homeless because being in service, and food and beverage, and I work for a certain company.
Oh.
There's they hang out all day. It's so
Yeah.
there's not a whole lot we can do as long as they're kind of following our rules and policies. But they can be there from open to close. And we offer a lot of things that are free. If they need Wi-Fi, they have Wi-Fi. They have outlets. They have free water and hot water. Some of them are okay, and some of them really abuse it. And we've had some very interesting situations. And I haven't been with this company for very long, and I've had over a dozen massive incidents, that required police involvement. And
Ooh.
there's typical stuff that kind of occurs, bad interactions or poor interactions with staff or something like that. But there's been some blowouts. The most recent one, it was interesting to see how this person really dealt with it. But the typical locked themselves in the bathroom, that occurs.
Apparently
That's
that's
typical.
no. Apparently that's normal.
It's normal
What?
for
Yeah.
this company to have that occur.
They lock themselves they don't want to come out.
Yeah.
Well, they
don't-
probably just want somewhere dry, warm to sit and chill.
I think it's
don't
a place
know.
of privacy. They're away
That they
from.
never
they're in
never
a-
get privacy. Yeah, I think you're
Yeah.
right.
And safety too.
There's. I mean, sometimes they're drinking or they're getting loaded in the bathroom. But
Well,
this is an
I
occurrence
I was
where
I was thinking a good
yeah.
occurrence,
know.
but there are bad ones too.
That would loop back to when Andy was here.
I was thinking about
Is there
that.
a homeless bathroom issue?
Yeah, the guy that would get drunk in one of the bathroom stalls. We called him to come remove this gentleman, and it went left pretty quickly.
So no. Just my favorite part of the story is yes, he was drinking in this bathroom. It was a handicapped stall, right? On the railing, he had all of his beer cans lined up,
All stacked up.
Oh yeah,
very
Did
methodically.
you do the little pyramid thing like they do?
No,
at,
they were lined up very methodically
Yeah.
on a line,
Oh my God.
stacked
lateral.
on the railing.
At least some of his life was organized.
Yeah. Anyway,
Oh God.
if you haven't listened to the episode titled "The Number Will Surprise You," part 1 and part 2.
Part 1 is where you'll find the bathroom story.
Yeah, and part 2 is just spicy things.
So, anyways, your guy is in a bathroom.
It's a lady, and she
right.
is typically very sweet, but incoherent at all times when you talk to her. It just doesn't make any sense, and she'll take up a lot of your time if you kind of just engage with it. God. So you cut it off real quick and go, I got to get this stuff. That is what it is, right? My staff informed me that she's locked herself in the bathroom. I'm off site. I come in.
Oh, God.
So I come in kind of like right sort of in the heat of it. They've already told her like, hey, you know, we need you to kind of evac basically. And she just blows up with the typical. It's sad that it's typical, but it's like, you know, you're harassing me, you're racist, you're this and that.
Yep.
And they were really polite. Like our approach is like, we all get trained on it. They do a really elaborate training, and the approach is smooth and like as best as you can.
But she's giving you all the taglines.
Oh, so much lip. Such a big scene. It was rough. It didn't get any better from that point on to, you know, we had to call cops to come get her and do the typical trespass and all that jazz. But prior to that, though, I have even better. 2 weeks prior to that, we had a bigger incident that it involved the bathroom, but briefly. We had a young lady. She's very young. She's probably like 19. She's a regular. She comes in with like suitcases. She's super nice, very funny. Hangs out for a few hours. She comes in, and there's a guy that sometimes is there with her. He's like in his 40s. Kind of a weird situation. We're not super sure. We're always trying to figure it out because they're there for so long, right? She goes into the restroom, and we hear a big crash. Like it was like surprisingly crash where everyone went, what was that?
Did she have the suitcases?
They were in the lobby. So she comes back out.
So she was solo?
She just went into the bathroom by herself. Big crash, comes out, and she goes, I'm so sorry. I just dropped a bottle, but don't worry, it's empty. And we were kind of like, oh, okay. Like, and she was like, I'm so sorry I made a mess. So I sent one of my staff to go in there to go like kind of check it out and see what it is. And it's a full like big handle liter, whatever. I don't know what the size is of like a big bottle of Absolute.
Oh.
Goodness.
Glass.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
good. Oh, perfect.
We were like, oh, okay. And within, we start sweeping up glass. I don't know. It was just kind of like, maybe it was empty in her belongings.
It doesn't matter.
She
There's
doesn't
no
seem the
booze
type.
in it, so we're good.
Yeah, it seemed like a little bit easier of a mess.
But for your employees, it's like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing today.
We put one and one together really fast, and we figured that she just slammed that bottle or whatever was remaining in it.
Bottle?
I don't know if it was the whole thing, but like whatever was remaining in it, and within a minute or 2 minutes, she became so inebriated in our store.
Oh.
And initially it was almost humorous because she was like coming on to the staff like really aggressively, and there wasn't a lot of people in there in the back of it, so it was kind of, and she was being low-key. She still wasn't maintaining it, but she was very like, you know, it was hitting her, and she was very just in kind of the happy stage at that point, right? This whole interaction occurs within 5 minutes.
Wow.
It goes so from like 1 to 100. She's talking, she's vulgar, but she is talking about like, you know, she wants a few of our staff members. It became a much when she was trying to reach over and trying to grab some of them.
Oh, okay,
Oh, Lord.
that could be assault.
And which one was a minor, and I had to like, I was like, yo, head to the back, like let me handle this one.
God.
Like let me take care of it. And I know her name, she knows my name, and her voice just starts peaking up higher and higher and higher, and starts getting kind of yelly, and
Oh no.
but like still like kind of nice, but she's like, do you think I'm crazy? Do you think I'm crazy? And she's just starting to go really ham.
Well, right now, yes, ma'am.
And I'm just trying, at this point, I'm like, you could tell me like all about your life. Let's like go out the side of the store, because there's another 20 people in the cafe. And I'm like, just let me get her out, and then she can, you know, we can chat it all up. Get her away from the store, basically, and other people. And the guy that she's with, we ended up finding out he was bringing her to rehab. That was the goal. So she was getting in her like one last drink for before, you know, hitting a 30-day, 60-day, whatever it was.
Ugh.
And she just got crazy in the store and yelling at and this was, you know, 6 p.m. A lot of people, it's so calm. Like people are studying, people are having like little meetings, and it's quiet. It's very chill.
Their chamomile tea in the evening.
Absolutely. It was very mellow. Dang. And this is a polar.
And she's just getting ready to get checked into rehab.
This is the most polar opposite of energy levels. Her vulgarity really bothered one of our guests, who proceeded to try to intervene to push her outside the store.
Oh no!
I'm sure that went really well.
I'm already with her, like kind of at the door. I was almost successful.
Like, I was so close, dude.
As soon as he stood up, she saw it and like threw her things down and went to just swing at him. They had a scuffle.
Swing?
Whoa.
Yeah, she swung at him, had a scuffle. Both of us.
And you're
out
like
the
in the
door.
middle of this.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
yeah. I'm
okay.
smack in the middle of it. She's a tiny thing. It wasn't hard to get out the door, but we got her out the door. And as soon as we like closed the door, she proceeds to like, what are those boots that all the girls are wearing now? Those the yellow little tag.
Doc Martens.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yellow
Oh.
tag.
It's got the yellow script.
Look at you, stylish boys.
Nah, you just aged
Liz and I
yourself.
over here like,
No, you
Converse?
just. Nah, he just aged himself.
I did.
Yeah.
Docs
They've
are
been around
not
forever.
new.
No,
Yeah.
that's
No,
a thing
no.
right now.
They came back though hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had a big pair of those
Thanks,
on.
Liz.
Like a ledge
Sorry.
platform
winks
style,
for
right?
Okay.
So she's kicking down our door, and the glass is coming, and the panels are pushed in. There's little metal pieces falling off.
Oh my
Wait.
God.
She's slamming the
She's
shoes.
kicking
Oh,
the door
good. Okay.
with all her might, and she's so inebriated. Like,
But you said
not-
she's tiny.
she's tiny, but it was doing damage.
Okay.
The door was coming in, so we had to like push all the employees and all the customers to the back,
Oh my
which is like very typical. And the doors are locked. We were able to keep
Very
it locked down.
typical.
Dang.
Well, like, you know, you want to get people away, like from the
Of
Yeah.
course, from danger.
yeah. I didn't really think she'd make her way through, but there was a possibility as like
Okay, pause.
going.
Have the cops been called? at
Already
this-
called.
Okay.
Yeah, I already pushed off an employee, but like give him a call. This was like early on, as soon as she started getting like kind of touchy, and
Yeah.
it was,
Yeah, 'cause
we
it
knew
takes
where it was
them a
going.
while.
Is this the time to call them back? Be like, yo, where you at?
I did do a follow-up call a couple minutes later after I made sure like all of our doors were locked. 'Cause
Right.
We had a couple that we had to make rounds to, but it did not stop for the next 15 minutes. And I guess her interpretation was that she had like her cell phone in the store, and that was what she was trying to get, just all her belongings. But before, it was with the dude that was, he already picked up the stuff she threw down before she scuffled with the guy.
But is he still inside the store?
No, he bounced. He bounced right away. As soon as she started kicking down the glass, like he was gone.
Oh,
He
she's
he
trouble.
disappeared.
I'm out.
The best part is like when the cops came up, they knew her name. Like this was not the first occurrence, but every interaction I've had with her since or before that was wonderful. Like she was so sweet. She was funny.
She was probably
I don't
drunk.
even know. I think she just had dependency issues, and I think had like swings. She was always well kept, super young, like very young, and just very very nice to deal with until that whole bottle of Absolute or Tito's.
Have you
whatever the hell it
seen her
was.
since?
No, she's still in jail. Yeah. They said that she had like quite the rap sheet already, and that
Wow.
they're like, you won't see her for a while.
Whoa.
Like they were just waiting for one more thing.
I think, yeah.
Or
it
to
was one of
catch her.
those. I think that's why that dude was trying so hard to get her to rehab, but it was crazy though. It was the most intense thing because we had like minors and children in the store as guests, right?
Oh,
like
that's
little
horrible.
study groups and stuff of like 8-year-old. It was like I felt terrible. It was such a mellow night. I don't know, but that occurs, right? Stuff occurs, and like
Yeah.
it's great training for our staff to just kind of be ready at any call. But it was a quick one.
So
and
this is how you make a latte, and this is how you deal with.
yeah, exactly.
A homeless person attacking your store with their Doc Martens.
The time frame though of how it kicked off was what I think caught me off guard the most. It was within a couple minutes. It was so
Wow.
fast.
When especially with someone you previously know.
Yeah,
a
that I was
previous
comfortable
customer.
with.
Yeah.
Someone I knew. Yeah, somewhat
Wow.
well. We knew, like I knew her name. I knew some of her story a little bit. Like, yeah, crazy.
Wild.
Young, troubled, and crazy sounds like just my type.
Sounds like good. You could probably pen pal her.
Probably
Shit.
could.
Yeah,
Oh, that's horrible.
they still do the like. I think that's online now too.
The prison thing?
yeah, prison
Yeah.
pen pal.
I'm pretty sure it's a thing.
They have like profiles. Yeah.
Shut
Is
up.
that a thing?
Yes.
No.
There are like websites for prison pen pals. Do you know this
God.
from experience?
No, I heard it on another podcast.
Actually, I heard it on the radio like a
Really?
week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, one of the drive
is, like,
time
a
shows
recent
were
thing?
talking about it.
Well, there's
Oh
like
my
so many people
God.
that like that's their kink. Like they love the fact
There's
that
a
like
foot,
Foot for everyone.
yeah.
That's wild.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Had to reel you back into your own norm there.
I don't know what my norm is, but apparently we're here. Welcome.
Says the girl with a foot for everyone.
In the Chowini mom sweatshirt.
Oh man, that's wild.
Also, hi mom.
But on a lighthearted note, this is my favorite customer interaction I've ever had. It's really like basically how my staff dealt with this situation more so. I had to deal with it, but on like a exterior level. I just got to observe it more, which was really awesome. I had a lot of managers that day. I could just kind of sit back and really just laugh because it was amazing. So a regular VIP customer comes in. This is a weekly woman that spends tons of money with us.
Like daily?
Weekly. She'd come in every week and she would spend like $400 or $500 at least.
Wait, what? Okay. So
Yeah.
this is retail.
Retail,
Because I was like,
loves to just buy.
food and beverage.
She's a
Holy
no.
moly.
Would we know
Sorry,
her?
I had to cut back. Yeah, so she's retail. No, not a famous person.
Okay.
But just a bougie lady, right?
Okay.
You know, She was awesome to deal with because we knew that we were closing out a big ticket every time she was in, right? And she was sweet and she was fun, in and out, didn't waste a lot of her time, didn't talk her ears off. You know, she was cool. She was awesome.
So she knew what she was coming in for. I want this.
Always. It was so simple.
Love that.
Hey, you know, because she saw things the previous time, so she would just come in and grab them. She was cool. She was great. She tried things on though every time, and it would take a little bit of time. And she could be a little needy, like needing sizes or whatever. Can you check inventory on this or that?
But if you knew,
that's like our job, not a big deal.
But if you knew, like,
and she was, big
this
spender.
bee is about to spend money.
Big
I'll do
spender.
anything.
Yeah. So awesome. We didn't care. She comes out of the fitting room and she goes, "It smells terrible in there." And we're like, "Oh, okay." Like this is high end. We clear out the fitting room. There's nothing laid in there. There's no like previous clothes. No. We're thinking like feet, like maybe like someone that was in there before, like took off their shoes and sneak feet. I don't know. We weren't really sure what she meant. And she was like, "Yeah, it's really, really bad. Someone should take care of that." And we're like, "Okay, we'll do that." Like, absolutely, like 100%. So sorry about that. Ringing her up at the cash wrap, and she goes, like, "I'm not sure what it was, but it was really bad. Like, you guys, like, whoever was in there before me, she's the first customer of our day." This was like right when we opened. So
Ooh, awkward.
there was nobody else in there, but we were like, okay.
I'm so afraid.
Yeah,
I know.
So she's so funny and she's sweet, she's witty, and she was like kind of a little off. We were like, "What is this?" Like, she seemed a little different. But we ring her up and kind of go, do the whole thing, and we see her on her way. Like, we just were like, "Yeah, have a good one." And typically they'll leave the stuff in the fitting room. Some people are really nice; they bring it out. We love those people, right?
Right.
But if they leave it in there, it's expected sometimes.
Okay, wait. These are like great clarifying questions for us as customers. Do you want us to hang stuff up?
The people that try to hang things back up and just like, if they hang it in there, that's awesome. Like that, they already went 50% the effort. We're gonna have to re-hang it all because you probably don't do it right, but that's okay because you just made the effort. And
But do you want it like folded on the chair or bench?
But in this kind of scenario, it doesn't really matter. We're gonna go in there and clear it out anyways. But
if there's someone standing there at the dressing room,
if they bring it all out to you, it's super nice. We're like, we're very thankful if someone brings it out.
So listeners, take note.
If you have a designated rack for your tried on product or something, if you hang it up on there, that's always appreciated.
Yep.
So I think scope it out before you enter the dressing room.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so I'm dying to know where the smell's coming from.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So the woman leaves. I'm like, I'm just like overhearing. I'm doing other stuff. I'm sitting on my computer. But I'm out on the floor, and I'm kind of just like observing the thing. Didn't seem like a big deal at all. My manager sends one of our associates to go like clear the fitting room, check it out, and I hear her scream, and she just like comes out.
Wait, the customer?
She comes out shaking her hands in the air, and she's like, "I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this." And we're like, "What?" It didn't make it was a non-thing. This is like not something we would ever experience. Ooh. And she goes, "There's like a huge diarrhea in this fitting room, like up on the wall." And,
from this
like,
woman.
From this bougiest woman
that
ever.
spends a lot of money at your store weekly.
She's so sweet. She's awesome. She did kind of like give us a fair warning a little bit, but nothing like what we expected. And it was really rough. It's carpeted, with like, yeah.
And
on the walls?
It's like she went to aim in the corner and then where we would have a bench usually, and she dragged it away, and it's like she intended to maybe pull the bench back, but then just gave up on that idea entirely.
Oh my god!
And it's like, up on the baseboards and up on the wall, like
a
foot up the wall. Like it was definitely like an emergent issue.
She might not have been able to make it.
Exactly. Yeah. So we kind of we were all shocked. I don't even know how to deal with that. Like, I mean, I did go through like a hazmat training like a couple months prior, and I was like, we have the equipment for it.
Did you pull straws?
But we had to that carpet was done, so it was more of like. But it also needed to be dealt with right then and there. We had to actually close shop. Because it's like they're like open. The fitting room's like, you can close the door, but it's not like a restroom where you could like close it, put a sign, and it's kind of contained. They're open.
Is there an opening like at the bottom?
Correct. There's an opening at the bottom and at the top.
Weren't you worried about like people smelling?
Absolutely.
Like you're ruining the experience of other customers in the fitting rooms.
Yeah.
My God.
It was terrifying though. The visual is burned in my head, and the absolute best part of the story is that she did not skip a beat. And she was there like the next Thursday, acted like nothing was wrong.
Wait, I'm sorry. You try on like, let's just hypothetical here. You try on clothes. You have an accident. Mm-hmm. You put on your clothes, and then you like check out, get rung up, leave the store. Like, I'm sorry, you're you're dirty.
Well, emotionally, she was like a little off, and like, she was disgusting. She had to have been.
That's so.
Well,
There's
she
no way.
also was trying to pass it off like it was someone else. She was like, "It smells super bad in there. You guys need to check that out."
She was in there for 30 minutes. Like, you wouldn't observe the you know what I mean? The mess that was already in there. Like, I don't believe that.
Oh, no,
my
it was
God.
her, for sure.
Yeah, it was her.
No doubt.
We didn't have
That's
any else in that
Beginning
fitting
of the
room that
day.
whole day. Yeah, it was the beginning of our day.
Oh, my
You know,
God.
just morning time.
Bill is
What a
horrified
crappy
over there.
morning.
But the best part is that she came back the very next week and just bought more stuff.
She was a
So
loyal
normal.
customer. I wonder why she wouldn't like change stores.
I would have never returned. I would have never
Never.
shown my face
In
ever
that
again.
city.
No
I'd
way.
moved.
Was this
Oh, my God.
was this a store where there was another location within, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why wouldn't you just like switch loyalty to another store?
She loved our customer service, I guess. I don't know.
I guess you were good at your job.
Oh, my God. She
I
must
mean-
have loved your fitting rooms.
We
It all works out in the end.
Well, she got new carpet in her
it's
favorite
really-
dressing
I
room.
know.
That's right.
Oh, my God.
But it was very expensive to find that specific carpet. It was
my
very like, I don't know.
To replace that one room versus all of them.
Yeah, they wanted to like just suction match it and they had some trouble. But whatever.
Oof.
Wow.
That reminds me, have I told the poop on the treadmill story here?
No, but you now need to.
I haven't?
No,
Okay, so
that's oh my God. I'm already like jumping forward in the story about how this occurred.
honestly, I'm so shocked of how this hasn't come up before.
I am too.
So at a previous property, I actually got the pleasure to build a fitness center from start to finish, like completely new building, new build, new equipment, everything. So it was a great learning experience for me in my profession. But so we attempted to open this fitness center in May of 2020. If we all remember where we were in May of 2020, it was not in fitness centers. Let's just say that. So we had this big fancy ribbon cutting on this beautiful multi-million-dollar building and couldn't really do anything with it. We couldn't open.
Oh.
So anyway, a couple months later, we allow so many people in per hour. Reservations are required, and we start getting a following. We even expand our hours. We're open at 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. We'll do anything for the members, whatever you want. And let me tell you, that 5 a.m. slot was fully booked. So we had 10 or 12 members per hour in the facility. So a few months go by. This is probably fall of 2020 or early winter, spring 2021. So we have a regular following. We're open. We know the policies. We know the procedure. My staff has been trained. It's great.
Everyone knows the drill.
New department is a success. Liz is everybody's favorite on property, and I am loving life.
Love it.
So we have this regular member who has had issues with staff in the past, sharing his political affiliation and kind of like berating the staff on
Lovely.
like where they're voting, blah, 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 and like wanting to know their opinion and very, very harshly share his opinion. And one day I'm sitting in my office, which is like right behind the front desk. So I can kind of see everything, hear everything, but I'm not involved. I can still focus on my work, my job, and the department is basically running itself.
Okay.
This gentleman comes up to the front desk. It's a young female at the time. She's 20, let's say.
Okay.
And this gentleman comes up to her and goes, "Hey, there's kind of a mess on the treadmill. You might want to get to it."
Oh God.
This is the
The member.
political affiliation guy.
Yeah.
But lacking any detail for the.
No
The
detail.
loudmouth. Got it.
This team member, this female, has had issues with him in the past. And she goes, "Mr. So-and-so, what do you mean?" She's not giving him anything because he's
A dick.
yeah, he's been a jerk to her in the past, like trying to figure out her entire life story, her political affiliation. I'm very proud of her to this day. She put her foot down and was like, "This is not an appropriate work conversation. I am an employee here.
Love
Nice.
it.
I am doing my job. I am doing my job well. If I can make you a reservation for the fitness center, let me know. If there is anything else beyond that, I am not of assistance to you."
Love it.
So I was like, "Go off. I love you."
but this is before or after the treadmill incident?
Before.
Okay.
So she's had all of this previous experience with this dude. And he comes and just goes, "Hey, there's a mess in there. You might want to like go take care of it." And she goes, "Mr. So-and-so, what do you mean?" He goes, "Well, there's an accident in there."
Oh my God.
And she's like, okay, like I'll go take a look, I guess." And she goes into the main cardio room and discovers this. And she literally screams through the whole fitness center,
Oh my God.
"Liz!"
Oh my God.
Mind you, there are members like working out, like in the fitness center, and I'm like, "What do you want?" Like, I am busy.
Why are you yelling?
"Dude, I need help here." what? And she goes, Mr. So-and-so shit on a treadmill.
Oh my god.
I can only imagine this is like when your dog craps on the carpet and your Roomba happens
I'm like-
to go ride around the room.
Yeah, did it like trajectile anywhere? Like,
So, come to find out, the gentleman leaves property very, very abruptly.
So would I.
it never
Be out.
returned.
And again, that's why I asked, like, was this woman like a mess? Like, I can't imagine him getting in his car.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, poor guy. He was on the treadmill and like
Lost it.
He trusted a toot that he shouldn't have
Oh my god.
on a treadmill.
Did he
like,
keep
run.
going?
I don't know how fast he was going or how
Oh
long
my
he was going. Well, yeah. So long story short, we had to close the fitness center because I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I wasn't trained in that moment. I
How
was
far
like,
did this go?
You could like pull apart that whole treadmill.
yeah, I got very versed in that treadmill. Like, let's just say
God.
that. There were only, again, it was COVID times. We only had so many people in the fitness center at one time. So I had to look at all these members that I know very well with this like shit on the treadmill behind me, be like, yo,
You gotta go.
can I close the fitness center? Like, do you really want to keep working out here? Like, there is a,
Were they just like, no, let me get a few more miles in. I
Here
like
to
the
grind.
smell.
there are literally skid marks on the treadmill behind me. And you want to be at like the squat machine next to it and like keep working out, sir?
Oh my god.
GTFO. So everyone was like, what do you mean? So I had to explain to everybody.
Somebody had an accident.
Well, somebody had an accident and there's like defecation in the fitness center.
Speaking of a fitness center and accidents, have you seen those videos of like the women, like heavy weight lifters that completely just urinate as they're doing it? And it's like a weird Instagram kink where every video they just all in an open public gym, mind
There's
you.
a foot for everyone.
It is
What the-
super interesting.
Um,
And
no.
that's not the goal of it. They're just weightlifters.
No,
But-
I personally cannot say I've never seen that in my professional workplace. Thank goodness.
I mean,
Only shit.
I don't think that's their goal. Isn't to make videos with that content. It's
So
about,
they push
it's all
so
about
hard.
lifting. Yeah, it's
They like
all about
push
lifting.
so
That's
hard
just
they
a,
pee.
yeah, that's just like a subsequent thing that just happens during going heavy.
I have not seen that in my professional workplace.
It's extreme, but
Thank
it's
you.
like
Thank
public
you.
gym and other. There's people around that don't seem to mind.
But okay.
Blows me away.
No.
If I saw that in a
clarifying-
gym, I would be super disturbed.
But are they urinating so it just like kind of goes down their leg?
No,
or are
they are. It's
Or is it
like
puddling?
pushing out a baby.
puddling?
It's puddling.
puddling.
Anyway, okay, back to my poop on the treadmill.
Did you clean it, by the way? Was that you that had to?
I hoped.
Oh.
I
Props.
was the...
That takes a lot.
I would have thrown the treadmill away.
Just
It's
order a new
done.
one.
Did you not hear the part where I said multi-million-dollar brand new fitness
new.
center?
Yeah, I know.
Makes
I'd
it sound
still-
like they can afford another one.
I would
No.
at least tried to charge the guy or something.
So
Yeah.
okay, let me finish. So
I'm sorry, we're jumping ahead.
the members that are in the fitness center are very, very understanding and be like, yeah, you got a mess to clean up. I'm going to leave. I'll see you tomorrow. Can you put me down for a reservation? I'm like, do you really want to come back tomorrow? And do you really want to use this treadmill tomorrow? Like, can you just take a break?
Was it really bad, or was it just like?
No, honestly, I'm talking it up. It wasn't that bad. It was a toot he shouldn't have trusted. But still, you have to take all your precautions.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So I call my GM at the time and they're like, I don't know, call housekeeping. Mind you, this is a very small property with 2 housekeepers. It's a country club. There's a clubhouse, there's a fitness center, and like golf course restrooms. That's all it is. So like 2 full-time housekeepers can get it done. Mm-hmm. They refuse to help me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I'm convinced they just claimed that they didn't understand what I was asking them in that time. So me and this team member like shove on gloves, like multiple layers of gloves. I'm like taking my jacket off. I'm like, I don't want to touch anything. I have
I just got the chills.
I have like straight bleach like ready. So, and then eventually we clean everything, like put the incline up,
Oh my god.
clean everything.
Did you just turn it on and just like spray it down and hold a towel?
Eventually,
Just let it roll.
yeah, when it was like clean enough to do that. So we just turned it
I'm
on.
going to get a face full. Oh
No,
my
we
god.
like turned
Slow
it.
speed.
No,
Slow.
no, yeah, but it was
Don't
high.
start and sprint.
It was high incline, so it didn't impact like any like motor or the bottom like underneath the belt or
gosh.
anything.
It's just on the mat side of it. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Okay.
with plenty of towels and like straight bleach.
I mean, think of how
telling
much
you.
sweat and other things that's on there. I mean, it's pretty.
Damn.
I guess I wouldn't want to touch those mats on a treadmill.
So we regularly, COVID times, we regularly had to clean and sanitize the whole entire facility.
Even the mat though on
I
a
did.
treadmill.
It was new. I wanted to keep it nice.
Okay.
Did you have a lot of treadmills?
4 or 5.
Which number was this?
2.
Done it.
So we're thinking like, this guy is going to quit. He's going to quit. He's not going to be a member. He's going to go to whatever other big box gym and he's going to quit. We're never going to see him again.
Next day.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Next day.
Yep.
Couldn't even wait 2 days.
Nope. So by
On a same
Fresh in your
treadmill.
mind still.
by this time, like the group chat is going off with
Oh,
my
yeah.
employees, like so and so shit on a treadmill today. Like me and Liz had to clean it. And yeah, he called the next morning and make a reservation for the same afternoon.
Same treadmill.
I don't know because I couldn't look at the man in the face. I couldn't look at that guy in the eye. I kid you not.
Bet it was the same
Yeah, if
treadmill.
you go to a
no,
gym
no.
a lot, you use the same like
Yeah.
treadmill,
I
use the
kid
same
you-
ones.
I kid you not. I was probably at that property another 5 months after it happened. I don't think I spoke to him. I had to, sir, I had to clean up your poop. I kind of have like a lot of poop stories. I have a lot of code browns and pools.
Oh yeah.
On that note, thank you for listening. Thank you to our hosts, Miss B. Thank you for being here again.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for having me, Bill.
Always. Pat, it was a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much.
Glad
It was
you joined us. Nice to meet you. Loved your stories. You're welcome to come back anytime.
fun. Loved
Yes.
them. I'm filled with them.
Liz, thank you again. Love having you here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure.
For those listening, if you would like to contribute a story, please feel free to reach out to us via email. You can reach us at talesfromtheserviceindustry@gmail.com.
Tales from the service industry at gmail.com.
In synchrony.
I don't even know what to do with that.
Thank you, everybody. And
We will see you again in 2 weeks.
Bye.
avenuepodcast.net